How's it going, guys? I'm Connor from Running Warehouse. Today I'm here with David, and we are going to be reviewing the new HOKA ONE ONE Torrent 2. Now, the Torrent series came to market in 2019, and it was the shoe that kind of unofficially replaced the Speed Instinct series as that fast and nimble trail shoe that also could go the distance. And while this shoe is similar in philosophy, it definitely has its own unique experience underfoot. Now, David, you've been putting in the miles in this shoe. What were your first thoughts when you got this on foot?
First thoughts, I ran in the HOKA Torrent 1 as well, so pretty similar feel. What I really liked about it is I think it hits that spot that's less cushioning than the Stinson, less cushioning than the Speed Goat. It's the light, nimble, fast version, and I had a great time in it.
Yeah, and just taking a look at this midsole, it is a little bit different aesthetically than the last version, but it is gonna have the same specs. It's gonna have that 26 millimeters in the heel, 21 in the forefoot, and of course that Pro Fly cushioning for a little bit softer heel, and of course that firmer forefoot. What were your thoughts on the midsole cushioning?
I thought the cushioning was solid. It really helped me out when I was going steep ascents, steep descents. It felt comfortable, it felt protective. I didn't have any problems with it, and I think distance-wise, I mean, you could take this shoe up to a 50K and still feel really comfortable on it.
Yeah, you are an ultra marathoner. Is this a shoe that you think you would add into your lineup? Do you like a shoe like this, or do you like to have a little bit more underfoot when you're going the distance?
I would say for really far distance, maybe a little bit more underfoot, but I think for training, having something that's light, fast, cushioned, it kind of hits all the spots for me.
Now, from the last version, both shoes have that Pro Fly cushioning. Did you feel like it had a similar underfoot experience? Did you feel that softness in the heel and again, the firmness in the forefoot?
Not really. I think it felt pretty cushioned throughout. Just having that little bit more in the heel, it felt more like a lightweight kind of fast trainer. But it didn't feel too drastic between the heel and the forefoot.
Perfect. Now, moving on down to the outsole, of course, we got to talk about this traction. Again, very similar design to the last version, but some small changes in lug placement. What were your thoughts on the traction?
I love the traction on this. For a $120 trail shoe, I think the traction on this competes with a lot of the Vibram on a lot of the higher end shoes. It's super grippy, no problems with slippage. I ran over a lot of loose rock, a lot of gravel, and this thing stuck it out the whole time.
What would you talk about the versatility of this shoe? Obviously, a lot of people use it for technical trails, but I think the lugs aren't too big, so I imagine you could use a little bit for road running as well. What did you think on the versatility?
I think that was it's a plus for me. I typically run from my house, which is on the road. I'll do about a mile or so, and then I'll hit the trails. And for this type of shoe, it's comfortable. I wouldn't run long distance on the road, obviously, nothing like the Peg Trail or something like that. But it still feels comfortable. It doesn't feel obstructive or like the lugs are too pokey, I guess I would say.
Perfect. Now, talked about midsole, outsole. Can't forget about the upper, and I think this was probably the biggest change over the last version. What were your thoughts on the upper fit and comfort?
I think the fit, they dialed it in a bit more. The first version, there's a lot of complaints about maybe being a little bit more volume in the midfoot, in the heel. This one, I think they dialed it in. I think the new mesh, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more comfortable. The only thing I wish is that there was a little bit more stretch in the forefoot, but other than that, I think they really have been dialing in this shoe, especially for the second version.
Yeah, not huge changes in this shoe, but I think that's a good thing. The Torrent 1 was a crowd favorite, and it looks like the Torrent 2 makes small adjustments that are gonna keep making this shoe what it is. Fast, nimble, but still has that protection to go the distance. Now, for you, you've used it for some long runs, you've used it just for that daily trail running. What would you say is gonna be the best use for the Torrent?
I think the best use for this shoe, especially for me, is gonna be those speedy days when I want to just cover ground and feel light and nimble, when I don't want something that's necessarily bulky or heavier that's got a little too much cushioning. This is gonna be my go-to most of the time, I would say.
Yeah, I think the shoe nailed it, and there's not too much I can complain about, but let's look towards the future. What would you like to see done to this shoe for the next version that you think could even elevate it to the next level?
My dream for this shoe, just because it has been one of my favorite trail shoes, I would love to see an Evo version. Just mix a little different compound, maybe even a tiny bit more stack height, and then just dialing that up a little bit more flexibility in the forefoot, and I think this would be a very solid shoe.
Yeah, I mean, I think Evo series Hoka shoes have been a big hit, and for a faster shoe like this, making it even faster, I think would be an awesome on-foot experience. Little strip down upper, help keep weight down. And I mean, people are using this for their training, but also their racing. So, you know, an Evo series I think could be something we could see in the future. But overall, Hoka One One Torrent 2, I think is gonna be a great addition to your trail running lineup. Whether you're going fast, you're going long, this is gonna be a versatile shoe that can pretty much do it on a wide variety of trails. If you're looking to get this shoe on your foot, it's available now here at Running Warehouse.